Okay, welcome back everybody. Welcome back to New Stuff TV, the untechnical tech channel. I'm your host, Antoine, Mr. Scoot to my Luke Richardson, because today we're gonna be talking about the Segway GT1 Scooper. I almost said scooper, scooter. Super scooter. That's what we're talking about, the super scooter. But we brought my little companion here, which is the Segway 9-bot E45. My last video about this was just about how much I enjoyed buying this scooter. It was actually my favorite purchase of 2022. It is now the year 2023 by the time you're seeing this, and I have upgraded, my friend, I have upgraded all the way to the GT1. Now, I did bring this here just so you can see it in contrast to how big the GT1 is versus a normal scooter. So if you can come over here, where do we start? Let's start with the deck. Come on in here, Wilson. Can you see the difference in the deck size between the GT1 and the E45? So if I put I'm a size 11/12 depending on the shoe. If I put my foot here, it is almost fully on. It's like 2/3 of the way, right? Only like a third or quarter of my foot is hanging off. If I put it on the E45, man, it's like just under half of my foot is on the deck. And then we look at these wheels. We got 9-inch wheels right here. These are pneumatic wheels. They're solid rubber pretty much. And these are gonna be punctureless. That means they require air. And I do wanna remind you, put air in them when you get this scooter if you're deciding on getting it. But it does have self-sealing features in it. So don't worry about that as far as running over stuff. But when we come up to the height of the scooter, this is how tall it is in comparison to the E45. So we got regular scooter, commuter scooter right here, and then we got super scooter. This thing is a beast. And as I continue to talk about it, I'm gonna go ahead and move the E45 out of the way because that's kind of over. That part of my life is over now. Moving on to the GT1, man, this thing has been so much fun to ride. But I guess a lot of people are wondering, dude, why didn't you get the GT2? Well, because I didn't feel like the extra $1,000 to $1,200 was worth it. It's kind of like saying, you know, the steak wasn't worth the sizzle. So let's just go by top speed, motor, and distance, okay? So top speed, we're getting 37 miles an hour with the GT1, and then we're getting about 43 with the GT2. Is that worth $1,200? I think not, in my opinion. Then we talk about motors. Because you get that extra speed in the GT2, you get two-wheel drive. Was that worth it? To some people, yes, to have that extra power if you needed it, right? For hill climbing or whatever. And you also get almost like around 10, 12 miles worth of extra distance in that GT2, but I just didn't feel like it was worth like $1,200. So I decided to go on the GT1 because 37 miles an hour with this kind of power, hill climbing ability and stuff like that, and they're both basically identical as far as build. It was just, hey, this was a no-brainer. I don't need more than 37 miles an hour in my suburban Texan neighborhood. Maybe if I lived in like, maybe New York or San Diego or somewhere, I could put that to use, but not here, homie. But let me, I don't want to miss out on anything. So let me go to my notes here, okay? All right, let me just go up in my notes. Now let's talk about weight and capacity. This thing is well over 100 pounds. It's not the kind of scooter you just put in a backpack. I'll stand behind it. It's not the kind of scooter you just put in a backpack or in a trunk, I should say, and just kind of just haul off whenever you feel like it. This thing weighs over 100 pounds, and it doesn't fold up that nicely. So you just have this really tall stem here. So let me just get it. Let me pull this up just like this. Wait, how do you do it? Well, once you do it, you're probably just not gonna need to do it ever again. Dude, I don't even, okay, there we go. Yeah. And it's nice and smooth. I mean, everything is constructed very well, but this is it. It doesn't lock into place. And where are you gonna pick this up and put it? You're probably gonna smash your fingers or something trying to carry it. So once you get that locked into place, you just leave it there. Don't mess with it ever again, because with the size and weight of this thing, I feel like it's pushing the limits of scooter. It's well into the realm of EV. Like, I know all scooters are considered EVs, but this is a true EV. It's an electronic vehicle. Okay, so that's what kind of size and build we're talking about here. I am a heavier rider. I'm 193 pounds, but being that the Segway 9-bot E45 was carrying me around when I was 253 pounds, this thing lugs me around almost like nothing. Seriously, I get top speeds in this thing at the rated quickness with that 193 pounds being lugged around. So it doesn't hesitate to pull you even if you're a heavy rider. Now, one last thing on the size and weight and portability of it is its size once again. So if you're a commuter, if you're commuting with this thing, great. If you have a garage to put it in, or you're not gonna be going through doors. But if you're the kind of guy or girl who needs to kind of take it to the office or move it in your house and stuff like that, the turning radius, the length of it, the weight of it, everything about it, the width of the handlebars makes it hard to travel through doors and maneuver through hallways and tight spaces, especially since you just can't pick it up and maneuver it. So think about that if this is something you're getting, like how does it incorporate into your lifestyle, being that it is an EV and it's a larger scooter. Now let's talk about this build, man. The frame is straight up solid aluminum. I want to say aircraft grade aluminum because that's what it says on the website, but the frame is the frame. It's so solid. Nothing moves, nothing shakes, nothing wobbles. I'm telling you, it feels like you're riding on like a moped or a motorcycle. It has a true EV feel. Everything it just seems like it was just custom made for this particular build. Now, if you're gonna be commuting back and forth to places, I'm sure you're gonna wonder, dude, what if I get rained on? Well, you're kind of covered in that aspect because it does have an IPX4 rating, meaning it's very splash proof. I have driven through puddles of water, haven't been rained on yet, but everything is kind of sealed off and covered very, very well. You gotta think, I know some people probably want like an IP6, 7 rating, but you gotta think there's a lot of moving parts here and a lot of electronic components, so I understand why you can't get such a high rating on a kick scooter. Well, this is not a kick scooter, dude. This is a super scooter, okay? I understand there's just a lot of moving parts here and a lot of electronic components. But like I said, you do have your 11-inch anti-puncture wheels here, which helps you get through a lot of different terrains. This is not an off-road type of scooter. It doesn't have off-road tires. This looks like a small version of a motorcycle tire. You see how it's rounded off on the front there? That way you can get your lean on and still have lots of contact with the road. Everything about this scooter just seems so custom and almost race-worthy. It's kind of like comparing this to, like, I don't know, maybe a CLS 53 AMG. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that, especially when you look at this control panel right here. Oh man, I don't want to go to this control panel just yet because I do have an agenda that I want to do right now. Let's talk about the ride, man. So going fast, 18 miles an hour on a kick scooter like the E45, it feels fine. You're doing it once you get used to it, but you feel like at any moment in time, you could die. You know, like if you run over a pebble, or if you kind of twist a little too much, you could flip over that thing or just slide off and skid out. And next thing you know, you're friggin' skinless. But because of the build quality and size of the GT1 and GT2, it just feels like you're connected to the road and you're actually on like a nice moped or, you know, like almost like a motorcycle. I don't want to say that too much because it's not, but it just makes you feel like you're connected to the road and you're okay with doing 20, 37 miles an hour. 37 miles an hour is the top speed of this thing, and I have done it. It is true to life. You will achieve those top speeds, provided it's not super cold and windy with a lot of headwind coming at you. With headwind in, I want to say it was like 15 degrees here not too long ago, and I had that headwind coming. I think the highest I was able to achieve was about 32 miles an hour, which is still freaky fast on a scooter. Now, one of the major reasons why I decided to upgrade from the E45 was the suspension. Going over the cracks in the sidewalk and bumps in the E45 or any scooter with no suspension is very jarring and it gets old after a while. So I was willing to upgrade to get this double wishbone suspension in the front on the GT1. You can see here you got your spring and then you got 15 different levels of dampening and rebound that you can control right here. And then on the back, you got a trail arm suspensions, and you also still have that same 15 levels of comfort that you can kind of, you know, just dial in if you want to. I haven't played around with that too much. All I've really done is set it to like, you know, maybe like the middle, but it feels comfortable. Yes, you will still feel the bumps because granted you are on a scooter, but it really softens the blow, almost to where you can't feel it, but you still can. So that suspension means so much to me, and it was definitely well worth the purchase. Another reason why I wanted to upgrade to the GT1 was power when I needed it, okay? Now, I'm not always riding out there 37 miles an hour. That would be insane. But when I need to scoot a little bit, I really want that power and the torque to get me there as fast as possible. And I feel like the GT1 actually provides me everything that I need. I have not had a desire to go any faster any faster than what it's already provided. And that brings me to the different modes it has. So I'm gonna come over here, turn it on with this one click, and you'll see here, we have, I wanna say 5 different modes because we have to include walk in that, but we have this walk button right here. You see the little man walking right there, and then you got park, eco, sport, race. And sport and race, I don't really do that too much, man. I hang out in eco. And the reason why I hang out in eco is because that's where you get the best gas mileage or the best battery mileage. Let me see, I forgot the numbers on how far you can go in this thing. Let me see, wait, how far can you get? Yeah, 37.3 mile range. Like that's kind of far, right? But you're not gonna achieve that in sport and race mode, okay? As a matter of fact, if you put it in sport or race, you can actively see the little markers going down with your battery life. You can see it in real time, like it's just burning up that battery juice in real time. So I keep it on eco, and that gets me up to 24 miles an hour. And that's plenty fast for me to get to and from work in every place I've ever needed to go. Now let's get into hill climbing. Like I said in my previous video for the E45, I don't have a lot of hills here, but what I did notice is this is enough power to get up a hill. I did watch one video where they were in San Diego or somewhere, and they used the GT1. I don't know what mode they had it in, but they got up that hill sufficiently. And then the hills here that I have in Houston, which is at my bayou and stuff, I don't know what kind of incline that is, but this thing gets up there effortlessly in eco mode. So there's a lot of power here to be used. So don't let it fool you that it's not 2-wheel drive or not as fast as the GT2. It's got plenty, and it gets me up that hill at 24 miles an hour. Okay, now let's get into some controls and features. Right here on the grip, half of it is taken up by the throttle. It's a twist throttle, which is kind of nice for a kick scooter. I keep calling it a kick scooter. It is not a kick scooter, it's a super scooter. But then we have our power button right here. It's a single tap. So if you press and hold it, it will turn the machine off. And then if you tap it, it will turn it back on. And then we can get into this walk button right here. This is kind of nice. I like that this is here because at any given time, you might just want to walk it, okay? And this is, if you press the throttle, it'll just go in a super slow mode just to help you push this 100-pound beast around. But it's also twistable, and then you can get into your different modes. So if you see there, I'm going from walk to park to eco to sport to race. But in any mode, you can go straight from that mode to walk. And then if you press again, it goes back to that particular mode. So that's what I really like about this side over here. Now let's pan over to the left-hand side of the handlebars, and then you can see the instrument panel there. So if you look here, that's the horn. Some people have complained about the horn not actually sounding like a horn, but that is super loud. Like, you gotta hear that in here. I'm gonna do it one more time. It is super loud, and I like the fact that it sounds completely different than everything else on the road, because a horn could just be a horn maybe in the streets. You don't know it's coming at you, but this gets your attention. This right here is your cruise control and your headlight control. So if you twist it down and to the right, you're turning your headlights off, and it signifies that you're turning it off. Twist it up, you get your headlight again. And you can have your daytime running lights running in sync with your headlights so they turn off and on. Then you have your turn signal. Now, this would actually be the one control I do not like. You have to kind of slide it with your thumb left and right. And while you're riding the scooter, it's just not very convenient to slide. I wish it was just more of a switch or a lever or something. I'm really not a big fan of that turn signal right there. But I don't think I mentioned it, but the cruise control is right here, and I love the cruise control, the way it functions. All you have to do at any speed, whether you're on deceleration, acceleration, or just coasting, you can press that button right there and it locks in whatever speed you're at. Now we get to talk about these brakes. Going up to 37 miles an hour on a scooter can feel crazy, and at some point you're going to want to slow down or stop. Man, these brakes are nice hydraulic brakes. I don't know what kind they are, what brand, but they are hydraulic brakes, because you can see right here it says put your mineral oil in there when you need to tune these bad boys up. They are solid and sturdy, and let me tell you, they do get the job done. Now, before I move on to all the extra bells and whistles this thing has, I'm reminded that you do have your charging port right here. I like that they put this little lever here. That way it protects it from the elements and water and stuff like that. Once you lift it, there's another dust cover right here, and then you're having your 2 charging ports exposed. Now, it has 2 charging ports because it supports fast charging with 2 chargers, but it only comes with 1 charger. I just want to make a quick note of that. So as far as bells and whistles, this thing comes loaded with plenty of them. I just showed you the dash and the control panel, which is great. So lots of bells and whistles there, but you also get some other stuff. Some of it's for safety, like the headlight I told you about. It runs in sync with the daytime running light. Then you got your tail lights. The brake light works in conjunction with everything else. And then you have some ambient glow lights that are they almost, like looking at it from the back, they look like little jet boosters, okay? And you can program the lights to be an ambient color, which will change throughout the color spectrum, or you can change it to where it actually goes with the speed. Like the light color will change with the speed you're going. I haven't really been able to see what color it is because I'm going too damn fast to see what color it is, but it's cool that it actually does that. It feels like rocket boosters, man. Just makes this thing that much more fun to ride. Now, another bell and whistle I want to talk about is app connectivity. In today's ages, that's important, man. You need to be kind of knowing what's going on with your devices here, and I love that they've still incorporated that into the scooter. Of course, you got all your mileage and stuff here, in which I've actually calculated the mileage that you get is actually very accurate to what the battery is depicting on there and what Segway claims the mileage is actually going to be. But when we talk about being connected to the app, you got a lot of features here, man. You got, let's go into, let me go into the light settings. Where are the light settings? Lighting effects, there we go. You can go into this kind of stuff. And I mean, it's not as much as you would get in the E45, but you got all these different modes right here. You got your Tokyo Midnight Dream Purple and stuff like that. Your jet plume, there it is, dynamic lighting effects that change with the motor output. That's freaking cool, man. So let's go back, because I did want to show you how to lock this thing. Being that they didn't really make it to be locked, I guess. You know, there's no locking port, and you know, it's certainly not something that you're just gonna be lugging in and out of buildings. You're probably gonna have to leave this thing on the street if you're out and about. So the way they lock a lot of scooters, you know, you can still pick that scooter up, like a 30-pound scooter, you could pick that thing up and it's in somebody's trunk, even though it's locked. This thing, it's locked. So look at that. Like, I'm gonna try to push it. You can push it, but it starts to flash lights and I'm putting force on it. You know? And then it starts to do that, telling me that somebody's stealing my scooter, man. Leave my scooter alone. Oh shit, what's going on? Okay, it's not. So let me unlock it. And now my scooter feels safe again. Like the scooter's screaming like bloody murder. Somebody's trying to steal me. And you think about this, man. If somebody's trying to push this thing away, then, you know, they're gonna be moving kind of slow because it is heavy. And they certainly aren't just gonna carry it away and put it in a trunk. Well, maybe in the back of a truck, but it's probably gonna take 1.5 to 2 people, man. Either way, I'm no expert in this kind of stuff, but what I do know is I really, really have enjoyed my purchase. Oh man, the Segway GT1. I did not know I was gonna love scootering around my town this much, man. You should try it out. It's a pretty cool scooter. Hey, but before I do go, I wanna tell you about this. So bicycle helmets are rated at about 16, 18 miles an hour. And then you got your EV helmets that are rated, I don't know, they can be rated up to like 20 something miles an hour. Get yourself a different helmet if you're gonna be on a scooter that goes up to this speed. This is the Burn Hudson, I believe. It's rated a little higher than a typical bicycle helmet because it is an EV helmet. I don't know what the numbers are on this thing as far as mileage, but then the next step up would be like a motorcycle helmet. And for me, I thought that was overkill. But I would say if you're gonna get on this thing and just be cruising around like that at those kind of speeds, definitely think about your safety. You ain't gotta wear like full body gear or nothing, but at least protect your cranium. I mean, you're already stupid enough as it is, right? Y'all keep being good to each other, and I'll see you when I see you.